Elena Vasquez sat in the corner of her small cell, her hands shaking as she stared at the metal walls around her. The walls were smooth and cold, nothing like the warm laboratory she used to work in back on Earth. She had been a scientist once, a good one too. She studied how chemicals could make the human body stronger and healthier, but one mistake, one accident that hurt people, and suddenly she was called a criminal. The aliens who captured her ship called themselves the Zeltharians. They were tall creatures with blue skin and forearms. Their eyes were large and black, and they spoke in voices that sounded like music. But Elena knew they saw her as nothing more than a lab rat. She had heard them talking about humans in their strange language. They thought humans were weak and stupid. Elena rubbed her arms where the metal restraints had left marks. She had been on this ship for 3 weeks now. Every day the aliens came to check on her. They would scan her body with strange devices that made humming sounds. They took her blood and tested her reflexes. She felt like an animal in a zoo. The door to her cell opened with a soft hiss. 3 Zeltharians walked in. The one in front wore a white coat that looked like the lab coats Elena used to wear. His name was Vorthka, and he was the head scientist. The other 2 were guards with weapons that glowed blue. Subject 847, Vorthka said in broken English. Today we begin the real test. Elena stood up slowly. Her legs felt weak from sitting so long. What kind of test? Vorthka held up a small bottle filled with green liquid. The liquid seemed to glow from inside, moving like it was alive. This is the Apex Serum. We have worked on it for many years. It makes us stronger, faster, smarter. But every time we try it on our people, they die. Elena felt her stomach drop. You want to test it on me? Yes, you are human. Your body is simple and weak. If it kills you, we learn something. If it does not kill you, we learn something different. Vorthka spoke like he was talking about the weather, not about possibly killing her. The guards moved closer. Elena thought about running, but where could she go? She was on an alien ship in the middle of space. There was nowhere to run. They took her to a laboratory that was much bigger than her cell. The room was filled with machines that beeped and flashed with colored lights. Tables covered with strange tools lined the walls. In the center of the room was a metal chair with straps and wires attached to it. Sit, one of the guards said, pointing his weapon at Elena. Elena sat in the chair. The metal was cold against her back. The guard strapped her arms and legs down tight. She could not move even a little bit. Vorthka attached wires to her head and chest. The wires felt cold and made her skin tingle. The serum will change your body from the inside, Vorthka explained as he prepared a needle. Your cells will become stronger. Your brain will work faster. Your muscles will grow, or you will die in great pain. We have tried this 846 times before you. All died within 1 hour. Elena closed her eyes. She thought about her old laboratory on Earth. She thought about the day her experiment went wrong and hurt those people. Maybe this was punishment for what she had done. Maybe she deserved this. The needle went into her arm. The green liquid felt like ice flowing through her veins. Then it felt like fire. Elena screamed as pain shot through every part of her body. It felt like every cell in her body was breaking apart and putting itself back together. The machines around her started beeping faster. The Zeltharians watched their screens and took notes. Elena could hear them talking in their musical language, but the words sounded excited. The pain lasted for 20 minutes. Then it stopped suddenly. Elena opened her eyes and looked around. Everything looked different. The colors were brighter. She could see tiny details on the machines that she had not noticed before. She could hear the heartbeats of the aliens standing near her. Impossible, Vorthka whispered. He was staring at one of the screens. Her vital signs are not just stable. They are perfect. Elena tried to move her arms. The metal straps that had held her tight now felt loose. She pulled gently and the thick metal bent like soft clay. The straps broke without any effort. The guards raised their weapons, but Vorthka held up one of his 4 hands. Wait, do not harm her. Look at the readings. Elena sat up and looked at her hands. They looked the same, but they felt different. Stronger. She could feel power flowing through her muscles. She could think more clearly than she ever had before. It was like someone had turned up the brightness on the world. How do you feel, Subject 847? Vorthka asked. His voice sounded different now. Less cold, more interested, Elena stood up. The room spun for a moment, then became steady. She felt like she could run for miles without getting tired. I feel different, better. Run these tests, Vorthka said to his assistants. They brought out more machines and started scanning Elena again. The numbers on their screens made them whisper to each other in amazement. Elena looked at the needle that had held the serum. There was still a small amount of green liquid left in it. Without thinking, she reached out and picked up the needle. She held it gently, but the metal crumpled in her fingers like paper. "Your strength has increased by 400%, one of the assistants said. "Your reflexes are 3 times faster than any Zeltharian. Your brain activity is, I have never seen readings like this." Vorthka stepped closer to Elena. For the first time since she had been captured, he looked at her like she was a person, not an animal. "What were you on your planet? What did you do?" "I was a scientist," Elena said. "I studied biochemistry. I tried to make medicines that would help people live longer and be healthier." "You understand chemistry? You understand how the body works?" Elena nodded. Suddenly, she understood much more than she had before. Looking at the machines around her, she could see how they worked. She could understand the alien writing on the screens. It was like her brain had been upgraded. "The serum," Elena said slowly. "It did not just make me stronger. It made me smarter too. I can understand your language now." "I can see how your machines work." Vorthka's large black eyes went wide. "This is not possible. The serum was designed for Zeltharian biology. It should not work on humans. It should have killed you." Elena looked around the laboratory with her new eyes. She could see flaws in the design of the machines. She could see ways to make them better. Ideas filled her mind faster than she could process them. "Maybe human biology is different," Elena said. "Maybe the serum works better on us because we are not like you." The other Zeltharians in the room had stopped working. They were all staring at Elena. Some looked afraid. Others looked amazed. Vorthka looked like he had discovered the most important thing in the universe. "Subject 847, he said quietly. "I think we need to run more tests." Elena smiled. For the first time since being captured, she did not feel like a prisoner. She felt like she had power. "My name is Elena, and yes, I think we should run more tests. But this time, I want to help design them." The room fell silent except for the humming of the machines. Elena could feel the strength flowing through her body. She could feel her mind working faster than it ever had. She was no longer just a test subject. She was something new, something the Zeltharians had never seen before. And she was just beginning to understand what she could become. Outside the laboratory windows, Elena could see stars. Soon she thought those stars would know her name. The galaxy was about to discover what humans could really do. 3 days had passed since Elena received the Apex Serum. The changes in her body continued to amaze everyone on the ship. Every morning, Vorthka and his team ran new tests. Every morning, the results showed Elena becoming stronger and smarter. Elena sat in what used to be her cell, but now the door stayed open. The Zeltharians had given her books to read and problems to solve. She read their scientific texts in hours, understanding concepts that took their best minds years to learn. The mathematical equations that covered the walls of their laboratories made perfect sense to her now. "Elena," Vorthka called from the doorway. He no longer called her Subject 847. "We have a problem. We need your help." Elena looked up from the quantum physics textbook she was reading. She had finished it in 2 hours. "What kind of problem?" "Come with me. I will show you." They walked through the corridors of the ship. Elena noticed things she had not seen before. The walls had small cracks. Some of the lights flickered. The air recycling system made sounds that meant it was working too hard. The ship was old and needed repairs. They reached a large room filled with screens and control panels. Red lights flashed everywhere. Zeltharian technicians ran around looking worried and afraid. The air smelled of burning metal. "The quantum containment system is failing," Vorthka explained. "It holds the energy that powers our ship. If it breaks completely, the energy will explode. It will destroy this ship and everything for 1,000 miles around it." Elena looked at the main screen. It showed a diagram of the containment system. Lines of energy twisted and moved inside a complex cage of magnetic fields. She could see the problem immediately. "The magnetic field generators are out of alignment," Elena said. "The energy is pushing against weak points in the containment field. You need to rebalance the harmonics." "We know what is wrong," said a technician with panic in his voice. "But the calculations are too complex. Our computers cannot solve them fast enough. We have maybe 1 hour before total containment failure." Elena walked to the main control panel. The symbols and numbers on the screen looked like a simple puzzle to her enhanced mind. She could see the patterns and connections that the Zeltharian computers could not process. "May I?" Elena asked, pointing to the control interface. Vorthka hesitated. "Elena, this system controls the life of everyone on this ship. If you make a mistake—" "I will not make a mistake," Elena said calmly. "I can see the solution." Elena placed her hands on the control panel. Her fingers moved across the interface faster than the Zeltharians could follow. Numbers and equations flowed across the screens as she recalculated the magnetic field parameters. The other scientists watched in amazement. Elena was solving equations that their most advanced computers said were impossible. She was thinking faster than their machines could process. "There," Elena said, stepping back from the controls. The red warning lights stopped flashing. The alarms went quiet. On the main screen, the energy patterns smoothed out and became stable. The containment field was stronger than it had been in months. The room filled with relieved whispers. The technicians stared at their instruments in disbelief. Some of them looked at Elena like she was a miracle. "How did you do that?" Vorthka asked. "Those calculations should have taken days even with our best computers." Elena shrugged. "I could see the patterns. It was like looking at a simple math problem. Your computers think in straight lines, but energy moves in curves and spirals. You have to think like the energy thinks." "Thinking like energy thinks," repeated one of the technicians. "That does not make sense." "It makes sense to me," Elena said. "Maybe that is what the serum did. It changed how my brain works. I do not just solve problems now. I understand them." Over the next few weeks, Elena's reputation spread throughout the ship. Scientists came to her with problems they could not solve. Engineers asked her to look at machines that were not working properly. Every time, Elena found solutions that amazed them. She fixed the food production systems and made them produce 30% more food. She improved the ship's engines and made them run more efficiently. She even cured a disease that had been making some of the crew sick for months. "I do not understand," said Dr. Kelthraw, the ship's medical officer. "The disease was caused by a virus that we could not identify. You looked at it once and created a cure in 2 hours." Elena was working on upgrading the ship's communication system. Her hands moved quickly as she rewired the complex circuits. The virus was not really a virus. It was a genetic marker that got activated by stress. When you tried to fight it like a virus, you made it stronger. But when you treat it like a genetic problem, it is easy to fix. How could you see that when our best medical scanners could not? Elena paused in her work. "I think the serum changed more than just my body. It changed how I see the world. I can see connections between things that you cannot see. I can understand how systems work together." Word of Elena's abilities reached the ship's captain, Commander Zeth Moore. He was an old Zeltharian with scars on his blue skin from many battles. He had been fighting wars for 50 years and had never seen anything like Elena. "The human has saved this ship 3 times in the past month," he told Vorthka. "My engines run better than they have in years. My weapon systems are more accurate. Even my coffee tastes better because she fixed the water recyclers." "Elena is becoming something we never expected," Vorthka replied. "The serum was supposed to enhance Zeltharian abilities. Instead, it has created something new. Something beyond what any of us thought possible." "What do you mean?" Vorthka showed the commander Elena's latest test results. "Her strength is now 10 times greater than when she first received the serum. Her intelligence scores are off our charts. But more than that, she seems to understand the universe in a way that we do not. She sees patterns and connections that our science says should not exist." Captain Zeth Moore looked through the porthole at Elena, who was working in the engineering section. She was surrounded by Zeltharian engineers who hung on her every word as she explained how to make their machines work better. "The crew is starting to look at her differently," the captain observed. "They used to see her as a test subject. Now they see her as a teacher. Some of them even seem to worship her." It was true. Elena had noticed it too. When she walked through the ship, Zeltharians stopped their work to watch her pass. They asked her for advice about their jobs, their families, even their personal problems. Young scientists competed for the chance to work with her. "She makes us better," said Engineer Yorthka, Vorthka's younger brother. "When Elena shows us how to fix something, we do not just learn the solution. We learn to think in new ways. She is changing how we see our own science." Elena was changing too. Her abilities continued to grow every day. She started to understand concepts that even the Zeltharians had never heard of. She could look at their star charts and see better routes between planets. She could glance at their weapons and suggest improvements that doubled their power. Most importantly, she was learning to see the bigger picture. The Zeltharian Empire controlled hundreds of planets. They ruled over dozens of alien species. But Elena could see the cracks in their system. She could see ways to make their empire stronger and more fair. Fourth Ka, Elena said one evening as they reviewed her latest test results. I want to ask you something. What is it? Why do the Zeltharians rule over other species? Why not work together as equals? Vorthka looked uncomfortable. Because we are superior. We are stronger, smarter, more advanced. The other species need our guidance, Elena smiled. Are you superior to me? Vorthka was quiet for a long moment. No, he admitted. You have shown us that superiority is not about what species you come from. It is about what you can do and how you think. Exactly. And if a human can become superior to Zeltharians, maybe other species have abilities you have never discovered. Maybe you have been wasting the potential of entire civilizations. Elena's words planted a seed in Vorthka's mind. Over the following days, he found himself questioning things he had never questioned before. If Elena was right, if other species had hidden potential, then the Zeltharian Empire was not just unfair. It was stupid. Elena continued her work, improving every system on the ship. But she also started working on something else. She was designing new versions of the Apex Serum, versions that could work on other species, versions that could unlock the hidden potential in every intelligent being in the galaxy. The Zeltharians thought they had created a super soldier. Instead, they had created something much more dangerous. They had created a visionary. Elena was not just becoming stronger and smarter, she was becoming the architect of a new future. 2 months after receiving the Apex Serum, Elena had become the most important person on the ship. Her small cell had been replaced with a large laboratory where she worked day and night. The walls were covered with her equations and diagrams. Screens showed her latest discoveries and inventions. Elena stood before the ship's main quantum computer, her hands pressed against the interface panel. The computer was the size of a small room and contained all the knowledge of the Zeltharian Empire. Most scientists needed years of training just to access its basic functions. Elena was having a conversation with it. Show me the medical database for genetic diseases, Elena said. The computer responded by displaying thousands of files on its screens. Each file contained information about diseases that affected different alien species throughout the galaxy. Elena's enhanced mind absorbed all the information in minutes. Cross-reference with planetary environmental data, she commanded. More information flowed across the screens. Elena could see patterns that connected diseases to the planets where species lived. She could see how environmental factors affected genetic development across hundreds of worlds. Fascinating, Elena murmured. Computer, run simulation 47 alpha. Simulation parameters exceed recommended safety limits, the computer responded in its mechanical voice. Override safety protocols. Authorization Elena Prime 1. The computer paused. Elena had given herself the highest security clearance by simply understanding how the authorization system worked. The simulation began. On the screens, Elena watched as her theoretical treatment eliminated genetic diseases across 17 different alien species. Diseases that had plagued civilizations for thousands of years could be cured with a few genetic modifications. Fourth Ka entered the laboratory with 3 other senior scientists. They had been meeting about Elena for hours. Her growing abilities were causing concern among the ship's leadership. Elena, Fourth Ka called. We need to talk. Elena turned from the computer. She had been working for 18 hours straight, but she showed no signs of being tired. The serum had eliminated her need for much sleep. What is it? Fleet Command has been asking questions. They want to know about our progress with the Apex Serum. They want to know about you. What did you tell them? Dr. Kelthra stepped forward. We told them that the experiment was successful beyond our expectations. We told them that you have abilities that surpass any Zeltharian. And how did they respond? They are sending Admiral Korza to inspect our work, Fourth Ka said. He will arrive in 2 days. Elena, Admiral Korza is not like us. He does not care about science or discovery. He only cares about military power. Elena nodded. She had been expecting this. Her work had been too successful to remain secret. What does he want? He wants to see if you can be used as a weapon, Dr. Kelthra said quietly. He wants to know if the Serum can create super soldiers for the Empire. Elena turned back to the computer. Computer, display current Zeltharian military capabilities. Maps of the galaxy appeared on the screens. They showed Zeltharian fleets, weapons, and defensive systems. Elena studied the information with her enhanced mind. Your military is impressive, Elena said, but it has weaknesses. Your ships are too dependent on central command. Your weapons are powerful but inefficient. Your strategies are based on overwhelming force rather than clever tactics. Elena, Forthka said carefully, Admiral Korza will want you to help improve our military. He will want you to create better weapons and stronger soldiers. And if I refuse? The scientists exchanged worried glances. Admiral Korza is not known for accepting refusal, Dr. Kelthra said. Elena smiled. Then I will not refuse. I will give him exactly what he asks for. Over the next 2 days, Elena worked on new projects. She designed improvements to Zeltharian weapons that made them twice as powerful. She created new armor designs that were lighter and stronger. She even designed training programs that could make ordinary soldiers fight like elite warriors. But Elena also worked on other things, secret projects that she kept hidden from the ship's sensors. She was designing new versions of the Apex Serum that could work on different species. She was creating communication devices that could reach across the galaxy. Most importantly, she was developing plans for something the Zeltharians could never imagine. Admiral Korza arrived on a massive battleship that dwarfed the research vessel. He was taller than most Zeltharians, with battle scars covering his blue skin. His 4 arms were equipped with cybernetic enhancements that made him stronger and faster. When he looked at Elena, his black eyes showed no warmth or curiosity, only calculation. So this is the human weapon, Admiral Korza said in a deep voice. Show me what she can do. They gathered in the main laboratory. Elena stood calmly while Admiral Korza examined her like she was a piece of equipment. Forthka and his team stood nervously nearby. Demonstrate your strength, the Admiral commanded. Elena walked to a steel support beam that was part of the ship's structure. She placed her hand on it and squeezed gently. The metal bent like soft clay. With a little more pressure, she broke off a piece of the beam. Admiral Korza's eyes narrowed. Impressive. What else can you do? Elena moved to a computer terminal. Her fingers flew across the interface faster than the Admiral could follow. In seconds, she had accessed the battleship's weapon systems and made improvements to their targeting algorithms. Your plasma cannons were only 73% accurate, Elena said. They are now 94% accurate. The modifications will increase your firepower by 40%. The Admiral checked his personal communicator. Reports from his ship confirmed Elena's claims. His weapons officers were amazed by the sudden improvements. How did you access my ship's systems? Admiral Korza demanded. Your security protocols are based on encryption patterns that I can see through, Elena explained. It is like looking at a code written in a language I understand perfectly. Admiral Korza studied Elena with new interest. Can you improve our soldiers the way you improved yourself? Elena nodded. I have been working on that problem. The Apex Serum can be modified to work on Zeltharian biology safely, but it will require careful testing. How long? Give me 6 months and 50 volunteers. I can create super soldiers that will make your current troops look weak. The Admiral smiled for the first time since arriving. Excellent. But first I want to see what you can do with this. Admiral Korza produced a small device that looked like a puzzle. It was made of some kind of alien metal and covered with symbols that glowed faintly. This is a quantum key, the Admiral explained. It was created by an ancient alien race that died out millions of years ago. Our best scientists have studied it for decades. No one can figure out how it works or what it opens. Elena took the device and examined it carefully. Her enhanced senses could detect energy patterns flowing through the metal. She could see how the symbols connected to form a complex mathematical sequence. It is beautiful, Elena said. The symbols represent quantum states in 11 dimensions. The key opens doorways between different levels of reality. Elena's fingers moved across the symbols in a specific pattern. The device began to glow brighter. Energy patterns swirled around it in colors that hurt to look at. Suddenly, the air in front of Elena shimmered. A doorway opened to somewhere else. Through the opening, they could see a vast city of crystal spires floating in space. Ancient technologies that the galaxy had forgotten gleamed in the distance. By the stars, Admiral Korza whispered. You opened a gateway to the lost realm. Legends say it contains technologies that could rule the entire galaxy. Elena closed the gateway and handed the quantum key back to the Admiral. The technology is impressive, but it is not meant for conquest. The ancient race built it to explore the universe and share knowledge between species. That is not our concern, Admiral Korza said. What matters is that you can access power that others cannot. You will come with me to the Imperial capital. The Emperor must see what you can do. Elena looked at Vorthka and his team. They had become like family to her over the past months. They had treated her with respect and curiosity instead of fear. Leaving them would be difficult. I will come, Elena said. But I have conditions. Admiral Korza's expression hardened. You are in no position to make conditions, human, Elena smiled. In one smooth motion, she moved faster than anyone could see and placed her hand on the Admiral's throat. Her grip was gentle but firm. Everyone in the room knew she could crush his windpipe without effort. Admiral, Elena said softly, I am not your prisoner. I am not your weapon. I am offering to help the Empire, but it will be on my terms. Admiral Korza tried to move, but Elena's enhanced reflexes let her stay one step ahead of him. His cybernetic enhancements made him fast, but she was faster. What do you want? He asked through gritted teeth. I want Vorthka and his team to come with me. I want access to the Imperial science databases, and I want to meet with representatives of the other species in your empire. Why? Elena released the Admiral and stepped back. Because I am going to change how your empire works. I am going to make it better than it has ever been. But I need allies who understand what I am trying to do. Admiral Korza rubbed his throat and stared at Elena with a mixture of anger and admiration. No one had ever moved that fast around him before. No one had ever spoken to him with such confidence. The Emperor will decide what role you play in the Empire. The imperial capital of Zelthar Prime was a planet-sized city that sparkled like a jewel in space. Billions of beings from hundreds of worlds lived and worked in its massive towers and floating platforms. As Elena's transport ship approached the planet, she could see the incredible scale of the Zeltharian Empire's power. Elena stood at the ship's observation deck, watching the capital grow larger. Her abilities had continued to evolve during the journey. She could now manipulate matter at the molecular level with just her thoughts. She could see energy patterns that were invisible to everyone else. Most amazingly, she had started to sense the thoughts and emotions of people around her. The Emperor has agreed to see you, Admiral Korza said as he joined Elena at the window. But you should know that many people on the planet are afraid of you. Why are they afraid? Word of your abilities has spread. Some call you a miracle, others call you a threat. There are rumors that you can read minds and control technology with your thoughts. Elena smiled. Some of those rumors are true. Which ones? Elena looked at the Admiral. Without speaking, she sent a thought directly into his mind. I can do more than read thoughts, Admiral. I can share them. Admiral Korza stumbled backward, his four hands clutching his head. How did you do that? The serum changed more than my body and brain. It changed how I connect to the universe. I can feel the energy that flows between all living things. I can touch the quantum fields that connect all matter. That is impossible. Elena gestured toward the planet below them. Watch. She closed her eyes and reached out with her enhanced senses. Every electronic device on the ship began to respond to her thoughts. Lights flickered in patterns. Computer screens displayed messages in her words. Even the ship's navigation system adjusted their course slightly. I am not controlling these machines, Elena explained. I am communicating with them. Everything in the universe is connected by energy. The serum taught me how to see those connections. Admiral Korza stared at Elena with something approaching awe. If you can do this with machines, what can you do with living beings? Let me show you. Elena placed her hand on a small plant that grew in the ship's garden. The plant had been dying from a disease. As Elena touched it, energy flowed from her into the plant. The diseased leaves turned green and healthy. New growth sprouted from the stem. I can heal living things by balancing their energy patterns, Elena said. I can make them stronger and healthier. I can even enhance their natural abilities. They landed on Zelthar Prime at the Imperial Palace, a structure so large it had its own weather systems. The palace was home to Emperor Zethkar the Magnificent, ruler of the Zeltharian Empire for over 200 years. Elena was escorted through corridors lined with artwork from 1,000 worlds. Guards in gleaming armor watched her pass with nervous eyes. Servants whispered to each other in hushed voices. Everyone wanted to see the human who had become legend. The throne room was vast enough to hold a small city. Emperor Zethkar sat on a throne made from crystallized starlight. He was ancient even by Zeltharian standards, his blue skin wrinkled with age, but his black eyes were sharp and intelligent. "Approach, Elena Vasquez," the Emperor commanded in a voice that echoed through the chamber. Elena walked forward calmly. She showed no fear or nervousness. Behind her, Orthka and his team followed at a respectful distance. Admiral Korza stood with the other military officers. "Your Majesty," Elena said with a small bow. "I am honored to meet you." Emperor Zethkar studied Elena carefully. "I have received reports of your abilities. They claim you have powers that exceed those of any Zeltharian. Show me." Elena looked around the throne room. Hundreds of courtiers and officials watched from the galleries above. Guards lined the walls with their weapons ready. Everyone was waiting to see what she would do. "What would you like me to show you? I am told you can heal the incurable. My son, Prince Kethzar, suffers from the fading sickness. Our best doctors say he will die within the year. Can you save him?" Prince Kethzar was brought forward on a floating medical bed. He was young by Zeltharian standards, but the disease had made him weak and pale. His breathing was labored and his skin had lost its healthy blue color. Elena approached the prince and placed her hands on his chest. She could see the disease at the cellular level. It was attacking his genetic structure and breaking down his immune system. The disease was complex, but Elena could see exactly how to fix it. Energy flowed from Elena into the prince. The courtiers gasped as they watched the prince's color return to normal. His breathing became steady and strong. Within minutes, he sat up on the medical bed looking healthier than he had in years. "Father," Prince Kethzar said in amazement. "I feel wonderful." "The pain is gone," Elena stepped back. "The disease has been eliminated from his system. But I did more than cure him. I enhanced his genetic structure. He is now immune to all similar diseases. His body will be stronger and healthier than any normal Zeltharian." Emperor Zethkar rose from his throne and embraced his son. Tears of joy ran down his ancient face. The throne room erupted in cheers and applause. "How can I repay such a gift?" the Emperor asked. "I do not want payment," Elena said. "I want partnership. Your empire rules over many species, but it could be so much more. I can help you build something greater than conquest. I can help you build unity." "What do you mean?" Elena gestured to the gallery where representatives from different alien species watched the proceedings. "You rule through fear and force. But what if you ruled through inspiration? What if every species in your empire wanted to be here instead of being forced to stay?" "That is idealistic nonsense," said General Vekthu, the Emperor's military advisor. "Inferior species need strong leadership. They cannot govern themselves." Elena turned to look at General Vekthu. "General, you believe Zeltharians are superior to all other species. But what makes you superior to me?" The general sputtered. "You are just one individual with artificial enhancements." "Am I?" Elena asked. She raised her hand and every electronic device in the throne room responded to her will. Lights dimmed and brightened in waves. Screens displayed her thoughts in real time. Even the Emperor's own cybernetic implants began to hum in harmony with her brain patterns. "I am human," Elena continued. "And humans were considered one of the weakest species in your empire. Yet here I stand with abilities that surpass every Zeltharian. What does that tell you about the potential of other species?" She walked to where an ambassador from the Corral species stood. The Corrals were small furry beings that the Zeltharians used for manual labor. "Ambassador Jiktal," Elena said, "your people are known for their delicate hands and precise work. But what if that precision could be enhanced?" Elena placed her hand gently on the Corral ambassador's shoulder. Energy flowed between them. Suddenly, Ambassador Jiktal's eyes began to glow with intelligence. His small hands moved with incredible speed and accuracy. "I can see," Ambassador Jiktal whispered. "I can see how machines work. I can see how to make them better." Elena smiled. The Corral people have a natural talent for understanding complex systems. With the right enhancements, they could become the greatest engineers in the galaxy. She moved to another ambassador, this one from the Thek species. The Theks were large, strong beings used as soldiers and guards. "Ambassador Grocknan," Elena said, "your people are warriors, but what if they could be protectors instead of conquerors?" Elena's energy touched the Thek ambassador. His muscles grew larger and stronger, but more importantly, his mind expanded. Suddenly he understood strategy and tactics at a level that rivaled the best Zeltharian generals. "I see it," Ambassador Grocknan said in his deep voice. "I see how to protect without destroying, how to defend without attacking. My people could be guardians of peace instead of tools of war." The throne room fell silent as everyone realized what Elena was demonstrating. She was not just enhanced herself. She could enhance others. "She could unlock the hidden potential in every species, Your Majesty," Elena said, turning back to the Emperor. "I offer you a choice. You can continue ruling through fear, using military force to control species that resent your dominance. Or you can build something new, an empire where every species contributes their unique gifts, where everyone benefits from being part of something greater." Emperor Zethkar looked at his son, who was now standing strong and healthy. He looked at the enhanced ambassadors, who were already sharing ideas and making plans. He looked at Elena, who stood calmly in the center of his throne room like she belonged there. "What would you need to make this vision real?" the Emperor asked. "Access to your genetic databases, permission to work with volunteers from different species, and most importantly, your commitment to change how the Empire treats its citizens." "And if I agree to this?" Elena smiled. "Then the Zeltharian Empire will become the greatest force for peace and progress the galaxy has ever seen. Every species will want to join you. Every world will benefit from your leadership. You will rule not through fear, but through love." The Emperor was quiet for a long moment. Then he stepped down from his throne and knelt before Elena. "You have given me back my son and show." 1 year after becoming divine advisor to the Zeltharian Empire, Elena stood on the observation deck of her flagship, the Harmony. Through the massive windows, she could see Earth growing larger as they approached humanity's homeworld. It had been 3 years since she was taken from this blue planet as a prisoner. Now she was returning as its liberator. Earth looked different than when she left. The planet was still blue and green, but now it sparkled with new cities and orbital stations. Elena had sent advance teams to prepare her homeworld for its new role as the center of galactic civilization. "Elena," came a familiar voice behind her. Vorthka approached, his blue skin showing the marks of hard work and little sleep. "The transformation chambers are ready. We can begin enhancing the first human volunteers as soon as we land." Elena nodded. Over the past year, she had perfected the process of species enhancement. She could now create customized versions of the Apex Serum that worked safely with any alien biology. Each species received enhancements that built on their natural strengths while eliminating their weaknesses. "How many species have joined us so far?" Elena asked. 47, Vorthka replied. "The Corral engineers have revolutionized our shipbuilding technology. The Thek peacekeepers have ended 3 civil wars without firing a shot. The Miran telepaths have created new forms of communication that connect minds across the galaxy." Elena smiled. Each enhanced species had exceeded everyone's expectations. When beings were freed from their limitations and encouraged to reach their potential, they accomplished miracles. And the resistance movements? Mostly disbanded. The Turvan rebels joined us last month after we enhanced their ability to terraform dead worlds. The Zephyrian pirates became our exploration fleet when we showed them how. Their natural navigation instincts could help us map unknown regions of space. Elena had learned that most rebellion came from frustration and hopelessness. When people saw a better future was possible, they chose cooperation over conflict. The Harmony landed at the New Earth capital, a magnificent city built where New York used to stand. The buildings reached toward the sky like crystal trees, powered by clean energy and designed to work in harmony with nature. Humans and aliens walked the streets together, sharing knowledge and building friendships. Elena was greeted by Dr. Sarah Chen, her former colleague from the Old Earth laboratory. Dr. Chen had aged in the 3 years since Elena's capture, but her eyes sparkled with excitement. "Elena," Dr. Chen embraced her old friend. "When we received your message about the enhancement program, I could hardly believe it. You look exactly the same as when you left." "The serum stopped my aging process," Elena explained. "I will live for thousands of years, long enough to see our work completed." "Our work?" Elena gestured toward the bustling city around them. "Transforming the galaxy into something worthy of all the species that live in it. Making sure that every being can reach their full potential." They walked through the city's research district, where human and alien scientists worked side by side on projects that would have been impossible just a year ago. Elena watched a Corral engineer and a human physicist collaborate on a new type of faster-than-light engine. Nearby, A Thek warrior was teaching human soldiers how to resolve conflicts through strength and wisdom rather than violence. How many humans have volunteered for enhancement? Elena asked. Everyone, Dr. Chen said with amazement. Once word spread about what you could do, every human on Earth wanted to be part of the new future. We have waiting lists that stretch for months. Elena had expected this. Humans had always been curious and ambitious. When they saw the chance to become something greater, they embraced it without fear. They reached the main enhancement facility, a gleaming complex where Elena's most important work took place. Inside, teams of enhanced humans worked with aliens from dozens of species to create new technologies and solve old problems. Show me the latest results, Elena said. Dr. Chen led her to a wall of screens displaying data from around the galaxy. Each screen showed the progress of a different enhanced species working on their specialized projects. The enhanced Aquarians have developed underwater cities that can house billions of beings, Dr. Chen explained. The enhanced crystallines have learned to grow living spacecraft that repair themselves. The enhanced gaseous ones can now survive in any atmosphere and help terraform hostile worlds. Elena studied the data with satisfaction. Every species was contributing something unique to the galactic community. No one was forced to fight or serve against their will. Everyone worked toward goals that benefited the whole galaxy. What about the other empires? Elena asked. Dr. Chen activated another set of screens. These showed maps of galactic politics. The Andromedan Confederation sent ambassadors last week. They want to discuss joining our alliance. The Spiral Arm Republic is asking for help with a plague that has been killing their people for decades. Elena was not surprised. Word of the transformed Zeltharian Empire had spread throughout the galaxy. Other governments saw how much their people had accomplished when they were free to develop their potential. They wanted the same benefits for their own citizens. There is something else, Dr. Chen said quietly. The Void Hunters have been asking about you. Elena's expression grew serious. The Void Hunters were ancient beings from outside the galaxy. They traveled between galaxies, consuming the life energy of entire civilizations. They had not been seen in this galaxy for millions of years. What do they want? They say they want to meet the being who has awakened the sleeping potential of this galaxy. They are coming here to Earth. Elena was quiet for a moment. The Void Hunters were more powerful than any species in the galaxy. If they saw the transformed galaxy as a threat, they could destroy everything Elena had built. When will they arrive? 3 days, Elena nodded. Then we have 3 days to prepare for the most important meeting in galactic history. Over the next 3 days, Elena worked tirelessly to ready Earth for the Void Hunters' arrival. She enhanced the planet's defenses not with weapons, but with energy fields that projected peace and harmony. She gathered representatives from every enhanced species to show the Void Hunters what they had accomplished together. Most importantly, Elena enhanced herself further. She reached deeper into the quantum fields that connected all matter and energy. She learned to manipulate space and time at levels that approached what the ancient Void Hunters could do. On the day of their arrival, massive ships appeared in Earth's solar system. The ships were dark and seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. They were so large that Earth's moon looked small beside them. Elena waited in Earth's orbital command center as the Void Hunter delegation approached. She was accompanied by Emperor Zethkar, Prince Kethzar, Vorthka, and representatives from dozens of enhanced species. The Void Hunters materialized in the command center without using doors or transportation devices. They were tall, thin beings made of what looked like living darkness. Their eyes glowed with the light of ancient stars. "You are the one called Elena Vasquez," said their leader, in a voice that sounded like the whisper of cosmic wind. "You have done something we thought impossible." "What is that?" Elena asked calmly. "You have taught a galaxy to evolve without destroying itself. Every time we have seen rapid evolution like this, it has led to war and extinction. Yet your galaxy grows stronger and more peaceful." Elena stepped forward. "That is because we learned that true strength comes from cooperation, not conquest. Every species has gifts that others lack. When we work together, we become more than the sum of our parts." The Void Hunter leader studied Elena with ancient eyes. "We have been watching galaxies rise and fall for billions of years. We have seen countless civilizations reach for power and destroy themselves. You offer something different." "I offer hope," Elena said. "I offer the idea that everyone can become better than they are, that no one needs to be left behind or considered inferior. Show us." the Void Hunter commanded. Elena reached out with her enhanced abilities and connected to every enhanced being in the solar system. Suddenly, the command center filled with a warm golden light. The Void Hunters could feel the emotions and thoughts of billions of beings working together in harmony. Humans shared their curiosity and determination. Zeltharians contributed their scientific knowledge. Corals offered their precision and engineering skills. Theks provided their strength and protective instincts. Dozens of other species added their unique gifts to the collective symphony of consciousness. "This is what we have built," Elena said. "Not an empire based on fear, but a community based on mutual respect and shared purpose." The Void Hunter leader was silent for a long moment. Then, for the first time in millions of years, a Void Hunter smiled. "We came here expecting to find another civilization that would eventually destroy itself," the leader said. "Instead, we found teachers. You have shown us that evolution does not have to mean extinction. Will you join us?" Elena asked. "No," the Void Hunter replied. "Our role is to travel between galaxies and observe. But we will carry news of what you have accomplished to other galaxies. Perhaps they too can learn from your example." As the Void Hunters prepared to leave, their leader turned back to Elena. "What will you do now? You have transformed your galaxy. Where will you go from here?"